Sudhanshu Trivedi joins me along with Shama Mohammed of the Congress. Appreciate both of you joining me. To you, Sudhanshu Trivedi first. Do you see this purely as a symbolic moment that someone from the tribal Adivasi community becomes India's first president? Is that how the BJP sees it, and therefore part of a social transformation that a group which 11 crore tribals in India you believe are represented today by Droupadi Murmu being in Rashtrapati Bhavan? Does this suggest a form of social engineering by the BJP?
Rajdeep ji, it is just not a symbolic, rather than it is a historic, epoch-making event. Because it is happening in the 75th year of independence. And if you remember, whether it was Purna Swarajya, declaration by Lokmanya Tilak, or Hind Swarajya by Mahatma Gandhi, or Antyodaya by Deen Dayal ji. Now it is being realized and actualized by none other than Shri Narendra Modi, under whose leadership NDA decided that Droupadi Murmu ji will become the president of the country. So I think this is the real realization of the Swaraj in the 75th year. Now one more thing, that there are 4 constitutional posts, 5 top constitutional posts in the country: President, Prime Minister, Lok Sabha Speaker, and Chairman of the Rajya Sabha, that is Vice President, and the Chief Justice. Now, among all the major sections of society, forward, backward, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and minorities, now after the 75th year, no section of the society can say that I have not got the opportunity to be in any of these 4, 5 top posts. So I think the true realization of the feeling of independence has come, but unfortunately this was a historical moment for Congress, that they could have come, those who become the self-proclaimed whole soul tribe copyright holder of the independence movement, they should have come forward and said, yes, we are ready to support it. The same manner they got the opportunity 20 years back when Dr. Kalam was made the party president, the presidential candidate. He was a totally non-political person, worked with so many governments. They missed the opportunity at the time, so did they do at this time. And interestingly, one more thing I would like to add, Rajdeep. There was an era when opposition has to search for a candidate, their needle sticks on any of the ex-congressmen. Like in the case of Prime Minister Sri Morarji Desai or the Vishwanath Pratap Singh, or in the case of President Sri Neelam Sanjeev Reddy. Now see the paradigm shift in the Indian politics. They all searched and finally they fixed up on an ex-BJP man, that is Yashwant Sinha ji. But unfortunately, one more thing. When हमारा सोना गिरवी रखा गया था in February 91, then Yashwant Sinha ji was the finance minister with the support of Congress, and today, so both the unpleasant movement of Shri Yashwant Sinha ji's life are somehow got attached to Congress party.
Interesting. Sudhanshu Trivedi, you have a knack of reminding people of a bit of history, which is always important and in a way interesting. But Shama Mohammed, you want to respond to that? Given what's happened, you've even got Mamata Banerjee today suggesting that she is going to declare August 9th as Tribal Day. You've had parties, including your allies like the JMM, deciding to back Droupadi Murmu. Has A, the Congress been outsmarted by the BJP, and B, maybe the Congress could have cut its losses and backed Droupadi Murmu? We could have had a consensus over the presidential nomination rather than an election which has been one-sided and only exposed the divisions in the opposition.
First and foremost, Rajdeep, let me congratulate Droupadi Murmu ji of becoming the 15th President of India. As a woman, I'm very proud of the fact that another woman has become the President. And let's not forget, the first woman President, Pratibha Patil, was given by we are the one who selected her as the first woman President. The first Dalit President, R.K. Narayan, again from the Congress. Again, we are the one who said, he should become the President. So the Congress party has done enough. The other important point is, I just don't want this to be a symbolic decision. Everybody, and I want today all of us to take a higher ground rather than bickering, why is this? Now, Dr. Trivedi said that, why didn't the Congress party support? Now, why didn't the Prime Minister come to us? The Prime Minister cannot sit on a high horse and think everybody is going to go to him. I remember Manmohan Singh ji, whenever there is an issue in Parliament, would invite Sushma Swaraj ji, would invite Arun Jaitley for a dinner to solve the issues. There was always been that sort of thing. Why is Mr. Modi always on a high horse? That is the other thing. And the third thing for me, very important, is that I really want the Adivasis, the tribals, the Dalits to come up, but I don't want this to be a symbolic decision. Why am I saying this? The Adivasis are 104 million in our country, and they have a budget in the finance around 8 to 9%. You know that has gone down right to 5 to 6% under Modi. They have been robbed of 114 crores right now. So that's why I'm saying, let's see what are the cases of if a Dalit has a mustache, he's shot at in Gujarat. If he rides a horse, he is, again, shot or killed. Let's remember that 121 has been recently, Adivasis have been recently released from jail. And they were 5 years in jail because they were accused of killing CRPF. So why are these things happening is the question we need to understand. Okay. And also, this is what, and also today what happened is, we all know that there is a secret ballot. We don't know who's cross-voted, one. And the other thing is about the preferential voting. We know during Dr. Kalam's time, there was something, new MLAs, MPs, they didn't know what was preferential voting. So that could also be the case right now. But today, what we all need to get the higher ground. And I would also tell Dr.
I'm ready to take the higher ground, but the fact is, I'm glad that politicians at times think of taking the higher ground. But I will, one moment press you, because I will ask my producer to play what Mamata Banerjee, remember Mamata Banerjee today has, okay, we will come to that in a moment, but you want to respond to that, Sudhanshu, for now? It's all very well today to say that the opposition should have also supported a Droupadi Murmu. But the Prime Minister, the Home Minister, the Defence Minister, no one approached the opposition and said, look, let's work together. And by the time they did so, it was too late. They had already got Yashwant Sinha as the candidate. You also didn't make enough of an effort to build a consensus. You had the numbers, and therefore you thought you would score a point and take the credit in a way that we have made India's first Adivasi woman the President of India. Why couldn't the Prime Minister have attempted to build a consensus, rung up Sonia Gandhi, rung up Mamata Banerjee, and resolve the issue?
In this context, just I would like to add, our party and NDA has decided that our party National President Sri J.P. Nadda and Defence Minister Sri Rajnath Singh ji will talk to all the political leaders. And they talked. Has opposition given up their any indication? Then they kept mum. Party approached and asked what is your view. When you kept mum, then you are expecting that when we decide, then again, like the masters, we should again approach you, sir or madam, now we are going to decide this. Do you agree to this?
Sudhanshu ji, 1 minute, sir. Sudhanshu ji, एक minute. Chronology जो मुझे पता है, the chronology I was told is Rajnath Singh ji did ring up the likes of Mamata Banerjee, did ring up the likes of Sharad Pawar, but didn't give them a name. So you ring up someone and say, look, please, when you ring up someone, had they said that Droupadi Murmu is your choice, Mamata Banerjee says she would have immediately supported her.
Sir, यही तो मैं कहना चाहता हूं. उन्होंने पूछा आपका क्या विचार है, आप बताइए. मतलब अब आप ये एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि हम अपना कैंडिडेट बना के परमिशन मांगते.
राइट.
हम पूछ रहे हैं, उन्होंने कोई अपना कैंडिडेट बताया, कंसेंसस बना के कहते साहब हमारा ये विचार है. अब तब उनकी बात के ऊपर हम विचार न करते तो ठीक है. देन एवरीबडी डिसाइडेड टू कीप मम. हो गई बात खत्म हो गई. अब दूसरा मैं याद दिलाना चाहता हूं, अभी शमा जी ने याद दिलाया, इन 2007 डॉक्टर कलाम वाज रेडी टू बिकम फॉर द सेकंड टर्म इफ कंसेंसस वाज देयर. बट देन व्हाट हैपेंड? Everybody was ganged up that Kalam should not get the second term. Maybe because if Kalam would have been in the office, then the clemency of Afzal Guru would not have kept in waiting for 7 years. The things would have been different. So that's why those who call up the consensus are having a totally different approach in the reality. And one more thing, there is also, you can say, a paradigm shift in the Indian society. There was one candidate who started his career as an IAS officer, Sri Yashwant Sinha. And there was one candidate who started her career as a clerk. And now, subsequently, she on her own rose to the stature gradually. Yes, Yashwant Sinha ji was also a very capable person. He grown. And finally, the people of India and the representative have decided. And one more thing, 107 MLAs believed to have done the cross-voting. Since, as Shama ji was saying, it is a confidential secret vote, so nobody can say which MLAs were there. But, मुझे ऐसा लगता है यशवंत सिन्हा जी ने कहा था अंतरात्मा की आवाज पर वोट दो. So maybe the conscience of several MLAs and MPs have arisen awake, and they have thought that if the historical opportunity at the historical moment of 75th year has come, so they should leave apart their party prejudices and come join, और इस यज्ञ में वो भी अपनी एक आहुति दे. तो हो सकता है अंतरात्मा की आवाज पर बहुत से लोगों ने कर दिया हो, क्योंकि इसमें किसी को बेनिफिट नहीं है. अगर वोट दिखा के दिया गया होता तो आप कह सकते थे बेनिफिट है. इट इज टोटली सीक्रेट, तो नोबडी कैन नो हु हैज वोटेड फॉर whom. So it is purely अंतरात्मा की आवाज which has finally come in favor of Droupadi Murmu.
You know, just a minute, Shama Mohammed, you know, somewhere in what Sudhanshu Trivedi is saying is a powerful narrative against that the BJP has got. In 2014, they used the narrative of Narendra Modi versus Rahul Gandhi, Chaiwala versus inheritor. Today, they are going to use the narrative with the president, someone who's a clerk, someone who has come from a small village versus Yashwant Sinha, who was an IAS officer, then of course became a finance minister, ironically in BJP governments led by the likes of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. But it's a powerful narrative. Someone who comes from the grassroots versus someone who's an IAS officer. Has the Congress, in a sense, again missed the opportunity to combat that very powerful narrative?
No, I don't agree on that at all. We have not lost any narrative. Like I said, they should have also, called up Sonia Ji, asked for a consensus. I'm sure when it's a woman, Mrs. Gandhi would not even, she's somebody who really wanted the women's reservation bill to go through. You know that we passed it in the Rajya Sabha. We couldn't do it in the Lok Sabha. And here is a man from a party, Dr. Trivedi, sitting here. Why is Mr. Modi not passing the women's reservation bill? He has a majority in the Lok Sabha, and in the Rajya Sabha, he is almost there. He could easily pass it, but he is not passing. That means he doesn't stand with women. The other thing he mentioned about is, I want to talk about Abdul Kalam. Why are you not against Hamid Ansari? I could ask you the same question. You have not even supported him for his second candidacy. Mr. Modi has accused him of treason in 2017 before the Gujarat election, along with General Kapoor and Dr. Manmohan Singh. Is that a way a former vice president has to be treated? We hear some rumors came just recently from Pakistan, and all of the BJP was ready to believe the story of this particular journalist from Pakistan. I mean, I fail to understand. Why do you go after Mr. Hamid Ansari? Is it because he's from a certain community? And those are the questions today he has to answer. And the other thing he spoke about is Yashwant Sinha from the BJP. Then I can say Himanta Biswa Sarma, the CM of Assam, is from the Congress. Why did you have him? So if you ask certain things, I can also answer back.
1 minute, ma'am. 1 minute. Let's stick. You have to stick to what we are. Let's stick to the focus today. Today is a day, in a way, of celebration. No, 1 minute. An Adivasi woman, ma'am, just a minute. An Adivasi woman coming from where she is a powerful story. But, and there's always a but. Sudhanshu Trivedi, while it is a historic moment, the fear is that this is only symbolism, or some would call it tokenism. The truth of the matter is the Forest Rights Act, which is being passed, will give, many believe, private developers even greater powers to take land owned by Adivasis. That for all the talk that we do in TV studios and what Droupadi Murmu represents, the reality on the ground is Adivasis in several parts of the country claim that they do not get their basic land rights. Therefore, do you believe that Droupadi Murmu coming to Rashtrapati Bhavan will really change anything on the ground? That's the question, Sudhanshu Trivedi, and I want an honest answer from you on this. Ma'am, just a minute. Let him answer.
You just have to ask him about manual scavengers.
Let him answer, ma'am.
Honestly.
Manual scavengers.
Please let him answer, ma'am.
If you remember, as governor of Jharkhand.
Please let him answer. No, please let him answer. Yes, go ahead.
Rajdeep ji, I will give a totally honest answer. As governor of Jharkhand, she has posed her opposition on the two bills passed by our own government, by a BJP government. And because of her stand, our government of Jharkhand has to change our decision. So this shows that our government as well as Droupadi Murmu ji are having firm conviction as far as the rights of tribals are concerned. Maybe there may be a difference of opinion, but finally we agreed what the governor has done with a respect towards the constitutional authority. Now, it is not just symbolism. I would like to remind when the tribal ministry was formed during Vajpayee's government. And not only this, if I ask you, the biggest organization working in the tribal areas is which organization? It is Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram, which is considered an RSS affiliate. The biggest schools run for tribals are Ekal Vidyalaya, that is run by the RSS affiliate Ekal Vidyalaya organization. This we are doing since 75 years. So what Modi ji has done in strict accordance with our well thought of ideology for the upliftment both from the grassroots as well as the symbol, as well as the respect and symbolism, both together. It's not just the one thing are doing. Otherwise, during the previous regime, Adivasis were either under the clutches of missionaries or under the clutches of Naxalites. If Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram would have been not there, I think the entire Adivasis would have been converted. So that's the real thing done, and Modi ji has reflected the real spirit of our ideology and thinking process.
You know, I want to put, just a minute, I want to put before the viewers a reality, a fact. In the last elections, 47 seats reserved for scheduled tribes, the BJP won 31. We often see the BJP politically as a Brahman Baniya party, but that has changed. And the rise of Droupadi Murmu or her ascent to Rashtrapati Bhavan will be seen as part of the BJP or the new BJP under Modi Shah trying to redraw the BJP's social composition. But whether she will be a rubber stamp president, whether she will actually assert herself if tomorrow there is a bill which is against tribal rights as she did in Jharkhand, those are questions that remain to be answered. I appreciate both my panelists joining me on a day which, as I keep saying, is a day when a slice of history has been scripted with India's first tribal president. Sudhanshu Trivedi, Shama Mohammed, thank you very much for joining me here on the News Today.